Hello, I am Tom Palmer. I'm a children's author, and this week, because it is the centenary of Leeds United, um, I have written a story called the Leeds United Centenary Story, which is available to all schools in Leeds. Well, it's available to anyone really because it's free on the internet. But I'm reading it especially for all the schools in Leeds. There are 5 chapters, each being released one day this week, and I'm going to read you the first chapter now. And it should take about 10 minutes, all being well. So, the Leeds United Centenary Story, and if you're reading it, you'll see a little picture there of an important man from the history of Leeds United, and he's sort of part of the story. The Leeds United Centenary Story by Tom Palmer, that's me. Part 1, Monday the 14th of October 2019. If any of you get lost at any time, Mrs. Reevy said in her school trip voice, I want you to find your way back to here. This is the Internationals board. We are opposite the Ellen Road main desk, so the receptionists on duty can watch out for you. Understood? Yes, Mrs. Reevy, Year 6 said. That had been half an hour ago. Looking sheepish, Meera, Kofi and Alex were standing by the Internationals board, a long list of footballers from all over the world who had played for Leeds United engraved onto a wooden panel. The corridor was carpeted with Leeds United badges. It's your fault, Kofi complained to Alex. Why? Alex snapped. You wanted to go on every bench in the home dressing room. You made us fall behind. Alex shrugged. It was his fault, but he wasn't bothered. They were at Ellen Road Football Stadium, his church, his temple, his paradise. And now he sat where every Leeds player in history had ever sat. So he was happy, whether they were lost or not. Guys, can you smell smoke? Meera asked. The 2 boys shook their heads, then Kofi turned on Alex again. I don't know why you're so excited anyway, Kofi teased. This ground is rubbish, like the team. Nothing like the brilliant, beautiful, amazing Juventus stadium. And Leeds is rubbish too. The whole city. Not like Turin where I used to live, or Kumasi where I was before that in Ghana. Alex shook his head. He hated this. He didn't care if people supported other football teams. That was their choice. That was normal. He just wished they weren't so mean about his team. He felt a surge of anger, wanted to lash out and shout at Kofi. Why do you live in Leeds if it's so rubbish? He could say. Why don't you go back to Ghana? But Alex knew that saying something like that was wrong. And it would upset Kofi, who had only moved to Leeds from Italy this summer, and from Ghana before that. So Alex kept his angry, stupid thoughts to himself. I mean, Kofi went on, you'll never have a player like Ronaldo come here like we have at Juventus. They might, Meera interrupted again. If Leeds go to the Prem this season, then build on it. I mean, they've got a great fan base, and they used to be one of the best teams in the world. Meera hesitated. Can you hear those noises like booms? They all stopped to listen. Yeah, Kofi cocked his head. I can. It sounds a bit like that First World War film we watched in class last week. Kofi was fascinated with the First World War. It was the first thing they'd done in class when he started at school a few weeks ago. Suddenly it was cold, icy cold. Meera imagined she could see snow settling on the carpet, and that a man was coming down the corridor towards them, picking his way between coils of, was it barbed wire? The man stopped. He really was there, not just in Meera's imagination. But next to them, wearing a brown flat cap and a jacket to match. 2 small dogs with rough coats and piercing black eyes stood just at his side. The man's face looked kind, his eyes wide open, and he was smiling, but there was something about him, something that unsettled Meera, who continued to stare at him, speechless. And who do you follow, young lady? The man asked politely. Meera looked at the receptionist on the desk, who gave her a smile. Then she studied the man again. What was it about him? He seemed unreal, like a projection. Then she got it. It was simple. She could see straight through him. Instinctively, Meera stepped back. Liverpool, she croaked, voice trembling, heart hammering. Liverpool, Leeds and Juventus, the man purred. 3 of the finest clubs in the history of European football. Leeds? Kofi laughed. Alex scowled and felt the man's eyes on him as Kofi continued to mock Leeds United. Not as great as Liverpool and Juventus, no, the man said calmly, still watching Alex, but great on their day. He turned to Meera. Ask me, he said to her. Eh? Meera was confused. What was he talking about? Ask me the question, he insisted, the one in your head. Meera sensed her 2 friends were looking at her now. She shrugged and looked back at the old man. Yes, she did have a question, but it was just such a crazy question to ask. But why not? He'd asked her to ask, so she'd ask. Are you a ghost? Meera asked. I am, the man said calmly, and I'm here for a reason. Meera felt her 2 friends push themselves back against the internationals board. Their eyes were huge now. Alex was trying to cough. They'd both seen straight through the man too, realising there was something amiss, very amiss. Now he'd said he was a ghost, and the corridor had gone even colder. Silence. Then they heard more booms and smelt fire or fireworks. A draft of cold wind tunnelled up the corridor. Don't worry, the ghost said. Those noises you can hear, the smoke, the barbed wire, they're from my past. Have you heard of the Great War? The 3 children nodded. World War I, Kofi said, his voice cracking with fear in his dry throat. He was still backed up against the internationals board. You said, Meera began, you said you were here for a reason. That's right, the ghost replied, his eye twitching slightly. The reason I'm here is, I wondered if you 3 would accept a challenge. None of the children replied. The ghost tried again, to investigate 3 mysteries. What sort of mysteries? Meera was intrigued now. 3 mysteries related to Leeds United that I need you to solve. Why? Alex asked. It's a test, the ghost replied, and you're the children of Leeds, aren't you? And I'm here because it's the Centenary of Leeds United this week. It's a big moment. I need to know the future is going to be okay for the club and for the city. Again, none of the children responded. But maybe the children of Leeds aren't up to it, the man suggested. That's my worry now. Maybe the children of Liverpool or London or Manchester are better than you. Hang on, I've lost my place. Oh, better than you, sorry. We're up for it, Meera stepped forward. The children of Leeds are up for anything. She glared at Kofi and Alex, who both stepped forward too, but not as close to the ghost as Meera was. What do we have to do? Kofi asked. I'll set you 3 mysteries, the ghost said. You have to solve them and say what you've learned. That's all, Alex added. The man nodded. What do we win? Kofi butted in. The ghost laughed, his shoulders shaking. You want a reward? Of course you'll need a reward. How about a season ticket to watch the football team of your choice for the rest of this season? How can you buy us season tickets? Meera asked. You're a ghost. I have ways, the ghost smiled. But a Liverpool season ticket? Meera asked. A Juventus season ticket, Kofi said. Here, every week, Alex gasped. At Leeds? The man nodded. Yes, he said, if that's what each of you choose. They sat at the back of the coach on the return journey to school, swinging round the roundabout under the M62. Under the M621. Tell me what he said again, Kofi asked Meera. The first mystery that we have to solve. Meera tried to remember what the ghost said word for word once he had agreed to his challenge. He said, we have to find the 1950s Ronaldo, she replied. He heard you saying you like Juventus and Ronaldo, I suppose. By midday tomorrow, Kofi added. That's what he asked, Meera frowned. Alex had not said a word since they left Ellen Road. He'd been thinking about the ghost man, just who he was. There was something in the back of his mind, out of reach, that made him think he knew who the ghost might be. I don't get it, Kofi said, interrupting Alex's thoughts. Alex breathed in. The idea of winning a season ticket to watch Leeds United was thrilling. His mum would never be able to afford that. But another thought was even more incredible. The man. He was familiar. What's up? Kofi asked. Alex frowned. I don't know who the 1950s Ronaldo is, but I think I know who the ghost was. And that's the end of chapter 1. And the next chapter will be available on Tuesday for you to listen to or watch if I do a video of it. And the mystery is for the children, they've got to find out who the 1950s Ronaldo was. And that's kind of a clue you might want to have a go at. This, obviously, the picture I showed you earlier, this is the ghost. And you might want to try and find out who he is. There's a few clues in the text as well, or you might not have time. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to the first chapter of the Leeds United Centenary story. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's it. I look forward to hearing your responses to the story, and I hope you enjoy the rest of it this week. Cheers. Have a good week.